Hello to all Zoella Book Club members and WHSmith's customers. I am Patrick Ness, the author of A Monster Calls. A few changes, mainly because the experience of a book is very different to the experience of a film. You can set a book down. And so we talked a lot about how we needed to sculpt the moments slightly differently for a film. And also because the book is very internal, how do you take all that and make it external? And so those were the big challenges. How do you shape it correctly, and how do you show what Conor's thinking without it just being lots of gabbing? I never see it as a challenge because I never see the division. I have a theory that there's no such thing as a realistic story, that even if it's set in contemporary London, it's just as made up as Game of Thrones is. Mm-hmm. And if you can acknowledge that, then it makes it easier to let things bleed together. And I like that in a story when I read. And so they all make perfect sense to me. All the stories make perfect sense to me. So that all that has to happen is that it has to be a universe where the story can take place. And that's it. Once you've established that, you can do anything you want. The challenging part to adapt was probably the tales, because I'm not a visual artist. And in the book, I had Jim Kay, the illustrator, come on and do things that I could never have thought of. And that's when collaboration is so joyous, to see somebody bring things you could never have imagined. So I had to sort of trust that. I had to structure them how I wanted them to be structured, and suggest. I say, the first one, they grow, they arc themselves, and so I suggest how they would arc, and maybe black and white shadow puppety kind of thing, or oil painting, and then just hope and trust that somebody will come in and do some amazing stuff. And by God, they did. By God, they did. Yeah. The very first idea I had from the book is what I think is the most important scene in the film, which is when he comes out of the second tale to discover he's destroyed his grandmother's sitting room. And to me, that's where I started. It's the fulcrum of the book. Everything rests on it, and the anger there, and the transgression there. That to me is that's my favorite scene, and it feels like there's real power, and the way Sigourney and Lewis play it is really, really something, I think. And to me, the most important line is much later. Is when Conor turns to the monster and he says, and asks if he'll stay. And to me, that's the whole movie in a line. That's all he wants. He knows there's something tough coming. He knows. He's always known. He just doesn't want to be by himself. The idea for the monster came from Siobhan Dowd, who was the original idea behind the book. She had a different kind of monster. And so when I took it over, I thought, I'm going to take this a different way, because I have to tell the story. I have to let it grow for me, because she would have let it grow for her. But I knew a lot about the Green Man myth, which is a very ancient English folklore about the landscape personified, and I liked that idea of something inscrutable stepping out of the landscape to, is he going to help? Is he going to just destroy? The mystery of it was really quite spicy to me. There's something really, really there. Oh, I never try to say what messages. I think it's not a message, it's a story. Hopefully people can see themselves in it, and hopefully they can see a little bit, maybe into the mind of a young person. Young people know a lot more than we would like them to know, and I feel the important thing is to engage with that rather than just to wish it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But Conor knows tough stuff, and it's immoral to leave him behind to face it by himself. And so, if anything, maybe that. Next for me, I am very busy. I have just finished the Doctor Who spin-off series Class. I have a new book, and I have a new novel out in May called Release. I've had a very busy year. I'm very tired.